Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to another capsule selection. Today, as always, I believe I have a vibe for you guys. I want to talk about things in fragrances. Lately, I've been doing a lot of talking about menswear styling and bringing yourself to your best self, bringing your presentation to its best self, I should say. And today, I want to talk about one thing that has gone well for me when wearing certain styles of clothing, from Oxford shirts and trousers to wearing fragrances as a symbolism and thought-provoking moment when I want to talk about quiet luxury, or I want to talk about the power of soft power. And so today's conversation, I want to talk about a capsule of fragrances that are talking about the soft power in fragrances. I think this is a capsule selection that many of you gentlemen will love, because I know that, like myself, I don't need every single fragrance to scream loudly that I have arrived somewhere. There are occasions when I want fragrances to have a beast mode presence. That's a different environment than what I do in my daily life. I want fragrances that have a presence to where they smell alluring when I walk through the halls. They smell captivating and almost to an aristocratic feel, kingly feel, for me at least, when I'm stepping in and out of elevators, in and out of boardroom, and in and out of meeting rooms. I want my fragrances to speak a certain language. Now, that's not always something I want to be beast mode. And so in today's list of fragrances, for you gentlemen out there that are starting their careers and those that are in the interim of their careers, these are fragrances that can speak in an environment of the office, to even being just your leisure scent, because you're a person who does not want a fragrance to scream. So power, it isn't always about the loudest voice in the room, as we know. True power is often measured, in my eyes, in the restraint, in presence, and in the way that a man carries himself, without force or excess. And that's a great way to look at this particular list. The kind of authority that doesn't demand, it kind of suggests. And that's what this one is. This is one of persuasion. These are fragrances that linger long after you've left a room or a space, but they're not something that has a projection cloud that's an annoying feeling. You know, fragrance plays a pivotal role in this. And this is one thing that I'd like to talk about, because the right scent isn't going to annoy anyone. It's not going to announce you as a person that's coming into a room to spray their fragrance everywhere, because some people can be annoyed by this. It's about the remembrance of a scent, that sometimes it makes someone call you afterwards, pick up a phone and look after you. And today we're going to step into the world of soft power, quiet luxury, scents that really give a phenomenal scent profile. These are fragrances that move with poise, control, and an understated dominance. So if this sounds like the type of content you think you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuances of scent, cigars, and wines. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's wonderful experience. Today we're going to examine the world of scent, style, and substance. The substance in this one is going to be the space where we explore fragrances, not just something to wear, but something that be a part of your identity and your memory and your presence when you want to talk about quiet luxury and soft power. This particular list, when I talk about soft power, I talk about the building of a capsule of 6 fragrances that capture the luxury of soft power. The art of making a statement without ever raising your voice is soft power. When you demand the type of attention that you deserve, when you are a commanding presence in the room, when you know that you are one of the most intellectually bound, the most sophisticated, and one who has answers and situational solutions. Fragrances can leave you with an impression among others that you are that stoic type of individual, that intelligence, that person to go back to in all forms and manners of solutions. And so for me, today I want to talk about the ones in my actual selection that smell luxurious. They smell captivating and they smell alluring, while also being something that you can have as a announcing of your presence, but softly. And so today I want to talk about the fragrance first off from one of my favorite fragrance houses. This is one I would like to think of as like a velvet crown fragrance when you talk about elegance. And that's going to be the scent Amber Star from the house of Xerjoff. So ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Amber Star comes as a set. It comes as a set with its brother fragrance Musk Star, or yes, Musk Star, Star Musk I should say. So you have Amber Star and Star Musk, two equally shining fragrances that very much so captivate. Sensual, alluring, captivating is what the adjectives I could use to very much so solidify this one in my mind and wheelhouse of a go-to fragrance that really is a commanding presence and a commanding of respect. The moment this one touches my skin, though, when it comes to Amber Star, the Xerjoff masterclass in restraint and opulence, this is a beautiful scent. An amber fragrance that never is too sweet, too thick, or too loud. That is something that I've searched far and wide for, and when I was able to achieve that in picking up the Amber and Musk Star collection, I was really and am really enthralled with what this scent can do. While it has a pronunciation and a nice sillage and a nice projection, the scent profile, the DNA of it, is something of a quiet, soft power to it. This one is so enjoyable. When it comes to this one, instead of its interplay of golden resins and creamy sandalwood having a large, huge halo over you, it's one that has a secretive, a creation of a secretive aura, a regal confidence that I enjoy about this particular fragrance, especially for one that is an amber scent. Because those are really not the connotations that you will most times pick up with an amber scent. We want to go into the indulgent, the sexy, the gourmandish when we talk about amber sometimes, the evening soiree styles, the sex appeal style, the actual panty droppers sometimes that we may call them. That's what amber fragrances can do. When it comes to this one, it has those confidence and attributes to them, but it has this restraint to it. The scent is for the man who doesn't need to prove anything, as I love to say, and that's what I stand on. So for me, this one here has a high quality of oils, and it's one that has the beauty and presence of soft power, and that's enough for this actual fragrance called Amber Star. Really enjoyable scent. One of my favorite bottles. This matte black and gold sits on my countertop, my desktop, and I love it as a actual piece of ornate decoration for my actual desk. This is one of my favorite bottles, and the scent, as I stated, is one of those soft power fragrances that just leaves everyone enthralled and everyone in a mesmerization over you. Once again, that is Amber Star by the House of Xerjoff. Next up, let's talk about a sartorial statement when it comes to a fragrance. One of the houses that I'm truly trying to get more involved with, trying to seek out more fragrances from because I am loving the execution, is Celine Paris. This is one of the designer houses that I like to view their clothing. I have a few of their sweatshirts, a few of their knit tops and stuff like that. I like the clothing. What I'm loving about the fragrance though is that it is something of a mass appealing house, but it has these avant-garde touches to it. And Black Tie is one of those. It's one of those scents that just is a great unisex leaning fragrance that has the power and precision of a great vanilla while also being a great orris fragrance. This one here is about knowing when to speak and when to let silence do the work for you. Black Tie from Celine is a beautiful capturing of a fragrance that is beautiful in its form of soft power. I'll say this. I love the smoothness of the vanilla. I love the smoothness and crisp silver sheen of the orris and iris in this one. It's a dusty, powdery orris and a whisper of smoky woods that really make this one enveloping. This is a fragrance that I think is equal parts polished and equal parts seductive. This isn't for me one of the most seductive fragrance as it is a more dressy and polished vanilla fragrance to me. It's more about the carrying yourself with the air of immaculate refinement than it is a seducer of all women around you. Now, they can do what I'm mentioning. Of course, if you put this on, it's going to be a seducer, especially if you wear it with the attire that is for a date night. But when it comes to a fragrance that I want to wear in all scenarios, leading up until summertime and even summer evenings, Celine's Black Tie is going to be a great addition to my rotation for an entire 4 seasons here in Southeast Michigan. Once again, a very beautiful, soft power style of fragrance. Black Tie, vanilla, orris, dusty, smoky, woody, but it's just right in the way it speaks. I love this particular scent. Let's talk about one of the fragrances that's in my collection from BDK. This particular scent is a fragrance that has the Midas touch to me. I've been able to put this particular fragrance in 6 or 7 different fragrance categories in talking to you gentlemen about what this fragrance does. This Extrait version of Gris Charnel's or Extrait version of BDK's Gris Charnel is one of the best Parisian sensual whisper fragrances in my collection. It's not a fragrance that is meant to be noticed from across the room, and I like that about this one. It's for someone who, some fragrances are meant to pull people in, to create an intrigue, and put a space between you two to make that closer, compounding that distance between two people. It's a presence that this one has that creates this ultimate adoration and intimacy that I love about it, and the way that it speaks. It has this beautiful rough edge to it, almost like a black leather jacket that's just been worn in and just so soft and supple. This one here has that vetiver core that the original does not, that makes it very masculine, but the Extrait makes it sit closer to the skin. The oil content reserves it as something that's going to be on your skin for 10 hours, and it just whispers a fine, fine tone all throughout the wearing experience. For me, this Extrait is one of the most compelling fragrances in this category. With the fig, the cardamom, and the velvety smooth sandalwood in this one, the spices, it smells quite beautiful, like a very quiet conversation in a dimly lit lounge. That's what this one is for. It's for that type of scent scenario. It makes people lean in closer. It's just one of those scents that makes people want to catch another whiff of you. And so, to me, this is the essence of soft power. This one here is a fragrance that never, ever has the notion that you need to chase behind. But it always has this beautiful pursuit. You know what I mean? That's the type of fragrance this is. Gris Charnel creates a memory for everyone that smells it. And it is exactly what this list is about. The soft power of fragrances. Beautiful execution from the house of BDK. Before we dive deeper into today's refined exploration, let's talk about something exclusive, something I'm very proud of here on the Dry Down, something that to me, it was designed for those who truly appreciate the finer details. So if you're here, you already understand that you're part of a select group of men who understand that scent, style, and presence are not just accessories. They're something that are identifiers of a life well lived. That's why I'd like to invite you to take a step further into the atmosphere and community of the Dry Down. The Dry Down membership program. On YouTube, I've offered this just in the last couple of weeks. I think it's something that many of us could take advantage of, because this is where we can go deeper. This is where the exclusive content and behind the scenes insights and also direct conversations with me and community members can take shape and build the future of this community. And also, if you're looking for something to wear your passion on your sleeves, when you take pride in this particular community, I've custom made shirts and a listing that I'll leave below. This is apparel that's just designed for those who have the same philosophy in mind, and the same philosophy as this community. Something subtle, something sophisticated, and something built for the modern connoisseur. It's relaxed apparel that just comes in sweaters, t-shirts, and fine tableware. It's going to be something that you just enjoy, something you'll wear on your leisure days, and some things you'll wear on your chill nights. I'll leave the links below. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about what I would like to say is like the shadowed presence of power. Soft power is one thing. Power hidden behind the veil is another. When it comes to Oumma from the house of Stéphane Humbert, this is a fragrance that speaks softly, but it has a very beautiful penetrating presence and undeniable gravitas to it. It's a powdery fragrance, a powdery oud fragrance. If you've ever been around the deep brooding medicinal style of oud, this one is it. It's layered with a smoky, beautiful incense. A dark, velvety rose is inside of this one. And the scent that it's meant for those who don't need to impress. They don't try to impress. It simply exists and just has this authority about it. And that's the beauty of Stéphane Humbert-Lucas's ability to blend. Wearing Oumma is like stepping into a room and knowing that you and your reputation has preceded you. It's a little bit mysterious. It's a little bit self-assured, but it's definitely one of the most unforgettable on this list. It has, like I said, the rose, the incense, the medicinal oud, all of just beautiful accords that have great balance, great texture amongst the wearing on the skin. It has everything that comes out in its own evolution, and it's never boring to wear. One of the best oud, medicinal ouds that I think you could come across, especially if you're looking for something in the soft power range where you want something to whisper and not shout. Self-assured, that is Stéphane Humbert-Lucas Oumma, a very enjoyable fragrance. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about luxury in the hue of deep blue. This is Indigo Tanzanite. Many people don't talk about Indigo Tanzanite like I think they should. When it comes to soft power, it's always reserved with a sweet, brooding fragrance for me and my thoughts. As you see, that's what the notion of these fragrances have come about. Deeply brooding, deeply sensual, but still have an authoritative feel to them when you go into either scenario that you're choosing. Something in the realm of a date night, something in the realm of just leisure play, something in the realm of business. And then even if you're doing an evening elegant, all of these fragrances speak to a room that can be crowded and doesn't need to smell and blossom throughout the entire room. You're not trying to create a room scent with these. You're trying to create an aura. When it comes to Indigo Tanzanite, it's something about being effortlessly rich and inviting that makes this fragrance such a beauty. This one here on the skin is so tenacious the way it stays and sticks on the skin, but it's one of those fragrances that really, you have to lean into it. You have to be someone who is not in most cases when we are in perfume or fragrances, you want someone to scream, you want your fragrance to scream. This is not that. This is a fragrance that has a nuance of patchouli, beautiful, exacting spices of amber composition that is creamy, wrapped in tonka, and it just has this beautiful layering effect of airy expensiveness and indulgence. What it is that I truly love about this one is you would think that this one is an aquatic fragrance because of the name. It's truly an ambery, exotic patchouli fragrance with spices, and it just comes off phenomenally well. And like I said, it's tenacious on the skin. It comes in, I'll say this, if you're used to fragrances, it's in the vein of the Venegia 21s. It's in the vein of Amethyst from the profile of Boadicea Victoria. So it's that spicy, peppery, patchouli, and ambery style. And they did a phenomenal job with this. I think that if more people smell this and got it on their radar, I know it came out like 2022, and it's been a beauty ever since I first smelled it, and something I had to have in my collection. And ultimately, as you see, the flacon is here. Indigo Tanzanite is a really beautiful fragrance. I think the soft power in this one just tells the story of an enigmatic gentleman that he knows exactly what he wants. And it's so masculine. That's the thing about it. You smell it, the patchouli, the pepper, the spices, the cardamom, the sensuality, the sexuality, the effortlessness of the carrying notes in this will make you feel like a prestigious individual. And it just comes off well. This is gray suit, this is black suit, this is navy suit, dark navy. This is suiting in a bottle. Indigo Tanzanite is one of those fragrances, man. It just captures the imagination. Love it. Indigo Tanzanite from the house of Armani Privé. Ladies and gentlemen, last up on this list, you know how I am enjoying accommodating these lists with a beautiful honorable mention. Sometimes these honorable mentions are discontinued fragrances. Sometimes they are hard to find. Sometimes they're just fragrances that are off the beaten path. They're not on many people's mention list. To me, this fragrance here, this is Van Cleef and Arpels Midnight in Paris Eau de Toilette. And this is one of the most seductive soft power fragrances that you can smell. It's one that's been long discontinued, and one that I'm glad I have a backup bottle of still boxed. When it comes to a scent that is a lost treasure of soft power, that's exactly what this is. This has some of the best powdery leather that you will ever smell. It was one that was highly touted when it was out. It was one that everybody had in their collection when it was when Fragcom and the fragrance journeys of people being on YouTube was starting. This is one of those bottles like the D.H. Orm Intense and the Straight to Heavens. Everyone was having certain fragrance, the Creed Aventus, 2012, 2009, those eras when people were starting out their collections. This is one of those fragrances that really was a true calling card if you were a collector. The EDT was one of the greatest expressions of quiet luxury that ever existed. Van Cleef and Arpels, they did a wonderful job at executing on this one. This fragrance is built around a powdery benzoin, soft leather, a dreamy, sweet, sexy tea accord. It was a scent that drove you, midnight in the city type of style. It was that type of scent. It whispered the conversations around it. You were out in the city, the street lights were on, And it was one that was avant-garde, especially for a city kid, because everyone was wearing things like Cool Water from Davidoff or Nautica Voyage or Tommy Hilfiger. When I would pull out this scent of Van Cleef and Arpels Midnight in Paris, it was a showstopper. It was one that I always knew I had to keep in my collection. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures are often the ones that disappear too soon. This is a beautiful fragrance, man. There are fragrances that can kind of resemble what they did with this and they played with it, like the Bulgari Black. I don't know how it's formulated now, but if you find a bottle of this one, this masterpiece, this understated, elegant masterpiece, I think you should grab a bottle of it because it's one that, like I said, left too soon. Pegasus, quite frankly, it captures the essence of that particular style of scent. The soft power of almond, heliotrope, a little bit of a leather nuance and metallic silverness. It's somewhere in that range. I would say about a 60% of what that is doing is what is in this bottle. But I just haven't smelled anything that came particularly super close to it. This is a phenomenal fragrance, gentlemen. Van Cleef and Arpels, Midnight in Paris. I don't know if you can see the constellations. Just a beautiful scent. The constellation in the bottle is everything. This bottle is fantastic, man. It's one of those just dope ass bottles. The blue, the hue, it gradients to a soft ambery tone. It just represents the midnight. I could wax poetic on about this, but this is soft power in a bottle. Van Cleef and Arpels, Midnight in Paris EDT. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my video for you guys today. I hope as always you found something entertaining and educational from this particular list. And if you did, all that I ever ask that you do, hit the like button, subscribe. Send this off to a friend who loves cigar content, loves wine content, loves fragrance content. It is about building their self-presence with their style and sophistication. To me, this video was about soft power and how it speaks, and not so much about volume, but in its presence. To me, these particular 5 fragrances, including a 6, which is the honorable mention, these fragrances aren't about being noticed a lot of times. They're about being remembered. And I want that to be something that sticks in your head because they are for men who don't need to demand attention because the mere existence of you commands that attention. If you have any questions about these fragrances, especially some in this list, I would love to sit down and do a connoisseur's conversation about a few of these. I haven't done one on any of these particular scents profiles, so if you want an in-depth review on one of these, just let me know. I want to hear from you guys. What is your go-to scent when it comes to quiet luxury and soft power? Do you have one in your collection? That's a good place to start at conversation. So I want you to remember, guys, scent is memory, collecting is legacy, and community is culture. And we here at the Dry Down, we are the culture. We are building a phenomenal culture. All you ladies, all you gentlemen tapping in, I see your comments. I love that this channel is resonating with you young ladies, young men, and gentlemen. I think that with more growth in this channel, we're going to have something of a powerhouse in the form of YouTube. I think that this is one of those channels that really is going to fly very, very high in this format. So like I said, just tap in below. Let me know what you guys are wearing. What's your quiet luxury fragrance? I'd love to know. Until next time, until next video, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you then. Peace.